You're missing out on some drama if you haven't seen this. Michael Keaton was taken to task this week by Rob Schneider on X after Michael's tone-deaf plea to young men against attending rallies for Donald Trump and Elon Musk. But there is so much irony here that I need to expose, so take a look at what he said before I tell you more about it.
Hey, hi, Michael. You know, for some of you folks who, guys mostly, I guess, who are thinking about attending a rally with Musk and Trump, they don't really respect you. They laugh at you behind your back. They think you're stupid. They don't want to hang out with you. They have nothing in common with you. They're not your bros. And I'm telling you, when Trump, years ago, I guess, said, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and they'd still vote for me, basically what he's saying in parentheses is, these people are so stupid, they're so dumb, they'd still vote for me. They have no respect for you, trust me.
Did the Batman actor decide to play the Joker in real life? Well, one user certainly thinks so because an edited version of the same clip is making even more rounds than Michael Keaton's original monologue. And you know what? Perhaps for good reason, because if you've been following the desperate Democrat media strategy over the past 3 weeks, you know that trying to gaslight young American men to vote for Kamala Harris has been a consistent strategy that Michael Keaton is only continuing. It began from Obama talking down to young African American men on a petty identity politics basis, and it seems to have infused a segment of Hollywood with this tried and failed identity trope. By the way, subscribe to Freedom Frontline and hit that notification bell because you can't miss these truth bombs we drop every day. But that's just the beginning, because I think Rob Schneider's epic response to Michael Keaton says more in few words than anyone else could say. And I quote, "Dear Michael Keaton, you're voting for someone who nobody voted for in the primaries and who was appointed by Dem elites to replace a president whose brain doesn't work anymore. You are voting for someone who won't tell us who is really running our nation. You are voting for someone who flies undocumented people into the middle of the night to Ohio and has let in 11 million people through our open borders, bringing child trafficking and that kind of drug I shouldn't mention on YouTube, causing misery and demise." And this is alleged and what Rob Schneider said, YouTube. Worst of all, you're voting for someone who never worked at McDonald's. You're voting for someone who wants to keep printing money to pay for forever wars and is pushing Russia and us towards World War III. You are voting for someone who doesn't seem to understand or want to understand our Constitution and that our right to free speech is our guaranteed First Amendment right, not what Kamala and Wall's paper calls a privilege. Lastly, Michael, you are free to vote for who you want to, and I will defend it from the highest mountain. But I am voting for the party that wants to secure border, to end wars, to protect our girls in sports, to end our captured regulatory agencies, reaffirm our First and Second Amendment rights, and make America healthy again. The party that has Robert Kennedy Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Vivek Ramaswamy, and yes, Elon Musk, J.D. Vance, and Donald J. Trump. God bless America, Rob Schneider. As succinct of a response as it is, maybe you think it's not as much of a punch in the gut as it needs to be, but don't worry, because Michael Keaton's helpless plea to American men by playing on their identity was met with even more backlash, including people like Tyrus from the Gutfeld show, who's not exactly known as someone to hold back. Take a look at this.
First of all, we need to give Michael Keaton a break.
Yeah.
And Ben Stiller a break.
Why?
Fellas, we've been there. The wife pulled you aside, told you to tell the boys you're not going out with them and why. Michael Keaton has been in how many movies? Countless thousands.
Yeah.
He's been up for, I think he won an Oscar.
Yeah.
He knows a little something about, he hung out with Tim Burton. He knows a little something about cinematography. That was a cry for help. He was leaned in as close as he could to the screen. I was looking in the eyes. Hey, guys. Help. I'm going to say that while you guys are out having fun, lifting weights, driving trucks, and talking about cool guy stuff, I'm here to tell you, you're all bad.
That made me laugh out loud because it's incredible how accurate that tone is if you go back and watch Michael Keaton's original video, and it seems like this pivot to a needless political angle where he's talking on identities rather than substance is new for Michael. If you remember back in 2017, he was one of the rare sane voices that called on his friends in Hollywood to wait a few months before piling on Donald Trump without giving him a chance to perform. He's reported to have said back then, quote, "Enough with the Hollywood BS. I didn't vote for him. but we've got to give a chance to him at this point. So it's clear that he's aware of that far left strand of his own industry that refuses to listen and has put on a set of political blinders, and yet this latest clip tells you that he may have joined that same segment once again. Also, did he say Trump thinks men are stupid enough to vote for him? Last time I checked, the only person that has called a large segment of the population stupid is Kamala Harris from this newly surfaced clip of her a few years back.
What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid. That is why we put them in dormitories, and they have a resident assistant. They make really bad decisions.
All of this expectedly flies under the radar when all you're doing is basically adopting a pre-built template for your political beliefs, which Michael Keaton is apparently one of only a few people in Hollywood still doing. That's because in contrast to the last two election cycles, Hollywood celebrities seem awfully quiet now, probably after seeing the disastrous last 4 years on several political fronts. They don't have a political leg to stand on anymore. They don't have something to stand for anymore, rather than just standing up against. That list includes people like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Matthew McConaughey, Zachary Levi, and of course Rob Schneider. Here's what Rob said a couple years ago when he finally made that switch away from supporting or endorsing the Democratic Party, particularly after seeing the damaging far-left policies of Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom in California.
There was a great video on Twitter, of all places, where everybody was lined up for hours trying to charge their Tesla, and they couldn't do it.
Right. And Tesla's the one who supposedly built their own terminals. They still can't do it.
No, and they also, I love that the governor of California is like, hey, listen, don't charge your car. Don't charge my car.
You just told me
I had to get a car that I can't afford.
Right.
Those aren't the cheapest cars, and now I can't charge my car. So it's lunacy. There's not one part of, that's why I couldn't stay in California, and I couldn't definitely stay a Democrat anymore. There's not one aspect of your life that the Democrats don't want to involve themselves in of your life.
And for that, he eventually even left the state of California. Rob, like many people that casually used to be in the political center, has been lost by the Democrats as a vital asset. And by the way, that also includes people like Joe Rogan, because both Rob and Joe have said that he could even see for themselves voting for someone like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as an independent over the Trump camp in the Republican Party. As for Michael Keaton, this helpless plea to men seems more like a way to crawl back into the spotlight. He's done several of these videos appeals to voters to vote blue this election, but he's been using the same old tropes against Donald Trump that have been debunked several times. Here's him using the infamous suckers and losers remark that has been proven to have no factual leg to stand on anymore.
John McCain was captured by the enemy. They broke his arm. His father had some influence and had the opportunity to maybe have him released from the POW camp. John McCain said, "I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here with my men." Donald Trump calls him and women and men who gave their lives for democracy, which we, and myself included, take for granted. And if it's gone, it ain't ever coming back in my lifetime. Trust me. He called them losers. He calls them losers. He won't visit the graveyards of these people who gave their lives. I'm sorry. This is no patriot. This is anything but a patriot. I'm grateful to all those people.
Can you really blame people for just tuning out this kind of talking down to them? Michael Keaton is being clowned and trolled on the X platform right now, and it's not particularly because of his endorsement of the Democratic Party. It's because many are seeing just how hollow and tired these talking points have become. Let me know in the comments if you feel a similar way, and share this video across your social media to get the conversation going before the election. It's going to be really exciting to see all of this coverage on Election Day and November 5th.